Have you ever wondered what would happen if the sun just disappeared right now? Not exploded, not gradually faded away, but just gone in an instant. How much time would we have left? 8 minutes or less. And the scariest thing is, would we notice it right away? Or would we keep living as if nothing happened? Something they usually don't mention even in scientific documentaries.
Have you ever wondered what happens in places where no human has ever set foot? Let's say on another planet. Let's skip the obvious choice, Mars, which has already been covered a lot, and go with Jupiter. It's the largest planet, a gas giant of the solar system. Let's board our imaginary spaceship and set off for this amazing planet. A real journey would take about 5 years. And we'll find out about Jupiter's secrets in just a few seconds. But before we begin, answer one question. Why do you think this planet is called a gas giant? It's simple. If you reach Jupiter, you won't be able to walk on its surface like you would on any other planet in our solar system. The thing is, its atmosphere is mostly made up of just helium and hydrogen. That means Jupiter's outer layer isn't solid like Earth's, for example, and it feels more like a cloud. That's pretty cool. We could just fly a rocket right through Jupiter. You might think that's logical, but in reality, it's not like that at all. Now let's get back to our high-speed journey to the gas planet. Here you are, flying on a state-of-the-art spaceship, amazed at how enormous the giant is. By the way, if it weren't a planet but just a spherical box, it could easily fit more than 1,000 Earths inside. That's not the only thing that blows our minds. Take a closer look at the surface of this giant. You must have noticed 7 huge ovals. These are powerful vortices that stand out with their bright white color. But that's not all. Take a look at the well-known red spot, which is about 12 to 14,000 kilometers wide. It's a powerful hurricane, considered the strongest in the solar system. Of course, we'll try to stay away from it. And now we're reaching Jupiter's atmosphere. The spacecraft is shaking because we have to move at very high speeds. We're only in the upper layers now, but the heat is already relentless. The unbearable temperature is over 700 degrees Celsius. But let's imagine that our vessel is high-tech and fully protected from high temperatures. So we move on. That's not the only problem we're going to face. Jupiter's rotation speed around its axis is very high, 500 kilometers per hour. That's why a day here is half as long as a day on Earth. Even the most powerful hurricane doesn't move across our planet at such a speed. Suddenly, intense heat gives way to cold. There is a sharp drop in temperature down to minus 73 degrees. At the same time, there is an increase in atmospheric pressure. After all that, we've passed through the upper layers of Jupiter's atmosphere, its stratosphere. Further on, the deeper we go, the higher the temperature, wind speed, and atmospheric pressure will become. Now take a look at what's happening around us. You see enormous lightning bolts and dense layers of clouds made of ammonia. I wonder what will happen next. We need to find this out as soon as possible. But wait, we can't do that. You're probably wondering why. It's just that scientists haven't yet discovered what lies beyond the ammonia clouds. 1,162 kilometers was as far as space probes were able to reach. They couldn't go any further because due to the increasing pressure, they would break down and then be completely destroyed. One of them was a probe called Galileo. It managed to last almost an hour in such harsh conditions on Jupiter, and that was already a huge achievement. What about our imaginary spaceship? Let's imagine that technology has advanced a lot in recent years, and now our vessel is no longer threatened by things like high pressure. And here we are, despite all the difficulties flying further. We have already covered 5,000 kilometers, and if we want to go back, it will be a problem. Our ship is approaching one of the most mysterious objects in the solar system, the core of Jupiter. Here, the temperatures reach unbelievable levels, 4,013 degrees. We definitely wouldn't survive in such conditions, but as we know, our spaceship is high-tech, which means it should withstand even these temperatures. We can hardly see anything, so we have to rely only on our senses. Now all means of communication with Earth are down. We can't send any signals anymore. Our spacecraft keeps moving forward anyway to a place where, in reality, it's unlikely that any other spacecraft would ever be. Despite the poor visibility, we notice a vast ocean with some strange substance bubbling inside it. It is located at a depth of 19,500 kilometers and is considered one of Jupiter's layers. Even the best researchers in the world can't say how everything is arranged here. Near the core, the temperature is even higher than on the Sun. The atmospheric pressure is 2 million times greater than on Earth. These are very difficult conditions because of which the hydrogen in Jupiter's atmosphere begins to change its characteristics. So-called metallic hydrogen is formed because the distance between the molecules is reduced to a minimum. At the same time, in its normal state, hydrogen has the lowest weight of all the elements. And as a result of these metamorphoses, on Jupiter it becomes similar in its properties to a metal. It won't be possible to get a better look at what the ocean is like, because metallic hydrogen can reflect more than 90% of light. Even if you use the most powerful light sources, you still won't see anything because of the incredible reflectivity of this form of hydrogen. So what happens to our spacecraft? It's as if it's stuck in one place and can't move forward. Gravity and the buoyant force coming from metallic hydrogen have collided with each other. That's why it seems from the outside that the space object is moving forward, but at the same time it's being pushed back. For a while, our ship can still move forward a little bit, but then it can only float freely, basically in the center of the giant planet. This is a serious obstacle, but what lies beyond it? The core of the gas planet. There is still no consensus about its characteristics and structure. Scientists have different theories. Some claim that it is a molten body with extremely high temperatures. Others believe that, on the contrary, it is a solid object, much larger in size than our planet. This core has a rocky terrain, around which metallic hydrogen accumulates, forming a dense layer with ordinary hydrogen located above it. The properties of such a core are unknown, but one thing scientists know for sure: there are extremely high temperatures there. It is estimated to be about 35,000 degrees. Just think about it, everything around would instantly melt from such heat. As you can imagine, our spaceship won't be able to fly through Jupiter. We would face many obstacles, from metallic hydrogen to the planet's core. And don't forget about the changes in pressure and temperature that will accompany you during your journey. Oh right, we almost forgot to mention the radiation and the Great Red Spot. All of this creates a true death trap, which is simply impossible to overcome at the moment. It's better for Jupiter to be explored by spacecraft, not by humans. There has been some progress in this matter. Since 2016, the Juno probe has been studying the planet. It has already taken pictures of the most beautiful aurora, which is the largest in the entire solar system, and recorded the sounds of the shock wave. Be that as it may, Jupiter still holds many secrets and is not planning to reveal them yet. And what do you think? Will technology ever advance enough to fully study this planet? 3i Atlas may not be what it appeared to be. An alien ship? Astrophysicist Avi Loeb from Harvard claims that it's not a comet at all. Or maybe more likely, an alien device His suspicion is based on the very unusual trajectory of this object. According to the scientist, it's very unusual compared with other interstellar objects and the way they behave. 3I Atlas will be near Earth as early as November this year, and according to Loeb's predictions, humanity needs to be prepared for any possible scenario. Imagine that on the street where your house is, a signal suddenly appears, and a cephalosauр. What will you think in that critical moment? That can't be happening. Scientists were similarly stunned by an interstellar asteroid that is currently passing through the solar system. Such visitors arrive here extremely rarely. In fact, only 2 interstellar objects not gravitationally bound to our shared home have ever been recorded before. In other words, this is just a transit traveler for whom the solar system is just another stop along the way, like Shepetivka Station for passengers on the Kiev-Uzhhorod train. What is this amazing ancient object? Could it, or its fragments, pose a threat to humanity's safety? Which interstellar asteroids, in principle, have visited the solar system and have been detected by Earth astronomers? And the main question, does this event pose a threat of an alien attack? The object E11 Pi 3Z, or as it is officially called 3I Atlas 2025, is a huge elongated boulder, the 3rd confirmed interstellar asteroid. The Chilean Atlas telescope has been closely observing it for several months, and data from June 14, 2025, confirmed that it is indeed a visitor from deep space. But a dilemma arises. To which group should the object be assigned, asteroids or comets? The fact is, the closer the rock gets to the Sun, the more it shows signs of cometary activity. For example, it developed a small tail and a faint gas and dust coma. Therefore, it is possible that we are dealing with an interstellar comet. What are the dimensions of the object? Exact data is not yet available, however, most scientists estimate its diameter to be about 20 kilometers. Some structures on Earth still seem unimaginably huge to you. The Statue of Unity in Gujarat? The Burj Khalifa Tower? Mount Kilimanjaro or Mount Jomolungma? Then imagine 2.5 Everests combined into a single object, flying at a speed of 245,000 kilometers per hour. It significantly exceeds the necessary parameters to escape the gravitational influence of the Sun. After all, the solar system escape velocity for our system is 42 kilometers per second. The data is relevant near Earth, and the mentioned object is moving at a speed of 60 kilometers per second. This is additional confirmation of its interstellar status. What other asteroids have visited the solar system as interstellar visitors? Officially, Oumuamua was recorded in 2017 and 2I Borisov in 2019. The latter is considered a comet that was ejected by some star system in ancient times. It may be located in a region of asteroids similar to our Kuiper Belt. Why is 2I Borisov considered a comet? Because as it approached the Sun, the object also showed distinct features, an elongated tail and a coma. Oumuamua is completely different. It's a full-fledged asteroid, but its cigar shape, which is unusual for such objects, once sparked a whole wave of idle speculation about the artificial origin of the visitor. However, in terms of size, it doesn't even come close to the hero of our video. Oumuamua's dimensions are only about 400 meters. Why does the asteroid have such a shape? And what gave it acceleration that isn't related to gravity in the solar system? There are no answers to these questions yet. Perhaps we shouldn't rule out the theory of artificial origin, which the scientific community so actively opposes. Where do such objects come from? Presumably, some of them may originate from distant regions of the solar system. For example, the Oort cloud. Or they could be long-period comets. The latter most likely includes the comet Hale-Bopp, which was visible in 1996 and 1997. Its orbital period is 2,500 years. And also, Neowise, discovered in the spring of 2020, opinions about this object are divided. After all, its orbital period is 6,800 years, which does not rule out an interstellar origin. In this context, some asteroids inhabiting the Kuiper Belt are also being considered. For what reasons do scientists consider them guests of the solar system? First of all, because of their unusual orbits. They are too eccentric or hyperbolic. For example, asteroid 514,107, because of such behavior uncharacteristic of objects native to the solar system, is considered to have been captured from interstellar space several million years ago. Stone visitors that have arrived to us from very deep space can be compared to paleontological or archaeological discoveries. By studying them, we can gain priceless information about locations we will never visit and won't even be able to see with advanced optics. But why do we detect interstellar wanderers so rarely? According to scientists' estimates, such asteroids and comets really don't visit the solar system often. And that's not surprising, since the universe is boundless, and Earth is just a tiny dot on its navigation charts. But still, it is believed that every year a few such objects drop by to visit us. Why don't we see them then? Because they are either too dim or insignificantly small. So much so that Earth-based telescopes simply don't detect them. But the situation is solvable. The new Vera Rubin Observatory is expanding the horizon of astronomical knowledge, and in the coming years, the list of interstellar objects will likely grow many times over. What else can we say about our main character, the interstellar asteroid 3I Atlas? Apart from its speed and size, the diameter ranges from 20 to 40 kilometers. It's worth mentioning its mass, which is 10 million times greater than that of Oumuamua, its distinctly hyperbolic orbit, and a trajectory that almost exactly matches the plane of the ecliptic. The last two facts were what first caught the attention of scientists, which is why astronomers classified the object as interstellar, meaning it is not gravitationally bound to the solar system. The asteroid will reach perihelion around October 30, 2025. It will pass a little closer than the orbit of Mars. The main question that concerns ordinary people is this visitor dangerous for humans? After all, if an object with a diameter of 20 kilometers were to crash into Earth at incredible speed, it would definitely cause global catastrophic consequences. The extinction of 80 to 100% of Earth's population, mega tsunamis and earthquakes, unprecedented volcanic activity, ecosystem collapse, and an asteroid winter. What's more, an object 20 times smaller would be enough to cause such devastating consequences. But a rock that huge would most likely bury human civilization forever. However, alarmists can calm down. We can say with certainty, no, this asteroid is not dangerous for us. It will be on the opposite side of the sun and will peacefully leave the boundaries of our system to travel through the dead vacuum for millions more years. Listen to the sounds that will surround it on its journey. However, there is another danger that we will talk about. Where is 3I Atlas now? The asteroid has passed Neptune's orbit and is now 4.5 astronomical units from the Sun, between the orbits of Jupiter and the asteroid belt. Its trajectory is directed toward the constellation Sagittarius. Is it possible to observe the object? Yes, and it's most convenient to do so from Martian rovers. After that, monitoring becomes more difficult because 3I Atlas will approach the Sun. Recently, the New York Post published an article in which journalists claimed that an alien artifact the size of Manhattan is approaching us. So, in November and December, we must prepare for an alien invasion. Such articles are not surprising because, as with other interstellar objects, speculation and conjecture could not be avoided here either. Moreover, the theory about the artificial origin of this asteroid was even voiced by respected people. For example, Harvard professor Avi Loeb, the head of the Galileo Project. This provocateur in science has repeatedly made assumptions, not only about this interstellar object, but also about those that were detected earlier, claiming that they show signs of alien technology. So far, none of this has been confirmed, although it certainly sparks the imagination and even scares some people. In any case, if an alien fleet doesn't hover over Earth this winter, the object will gradually move away. It will pass by Neptune again in early 2028. Then it will head back into interstellar space. Studying such a massive celestial body discovered as it approaches the solar system, rather than when it leaves, gives us a better chance to thoroughly investigate the asteroid. What do such studies mean for science on Earth? They are of great significance because astronomers will be able to study material from another star system, as well as gain a lot of information about the object's composition and its origin. Some astrophysicists suggest that the interstellar asteroid came from a region of the Milky Way where about 2/3 of the stars in our galaxy are located. But why didn't it stay in its own stellar environment and instead set off on a journey? Most likely, the asteroid was ejected as a result of gravitational interaction with a gas giant comparable in size and mass to our Jupiter. However, this is just a hypothesis, and more accurate data will follow after the object is studied. So, what did the asteroid 3I Atlas bring with it, besides surprise, excitement, and concerns? This is a real window into other worlds, whose laws may differ significantly from ours, which will allow us to compare the processes of planet formation in this universe. In other words, this asteroid will demonstrate the unique features of its native star system. What? In this video, we will talk about asteroids. Asteroids that demonstrate the unique features of their native star system, similar to Borisov's comet, in which a huge amount was discovered. We recommend the Universal Anthem by S. They are, and to astronomers about the fact that the object was formed in a very cold environment, near a star that is the absolute opposite of the Sun. In addition, interstellar objects can provide valuable information about the early stages in the evolution of ancient star clusters. By studying such asteroids and comets, we can examine the effects of non-gravitational acceleration, refine models of galaxy structures, and determine the density of the interstellar medium. But the cherry on top is the possibility of discovering signs of life. Directly, this is unlikely, but finding molecules with prebiotic properties could strengthen the panspermia hypothesis, which suggests that life and its components are transferred between objects in the universe. Final question. How would this interstellar asteroid have to behave for scientists and the public to be stunned? At the end of the 20th century, an event occurred that no one has been able to match in scale so far. Not even the famous dreamer and fantasist Elon Musk. In 1977, 2 probes with the telling name Voyager were launched into space. Why did the mission, which the whole world is still following, come to life during this particular period? The idea to send an unmanned spacecraft to the planets of the solar system first emerged back in the 1960s. Student intern Gary Flandro once calculated that in the late 1970s, there would be a great opportunity to use a gravity assist around Jupiter to fly by all the outer planets of the solar system, since they would be lining up in a rare alignment. The work of the young prodigy attracted interest, and it was found that his assumption was correct. The planets really will come much closer together, making it possible to observe them more closely through the eyes of the probes. Thus, the Voyager project was introduced to the world. The twin spacecraft launched on August 20 and September 5, 1977, but not in numerical order, but the other way around. This was done intentionally, because each probe has its own specific task and a personalized route has been developed for it. Voyager 2 got Jupiter and Saturn, but after the mission was extended, it successfully explored Uranus and Neptune. Voyager 1 also accomplished its mission perfectly. It visited the giant planets and the Galilean moons of Jupiter. And then, taking the shortest route, it went beyond the heliosphere and became the first spacecraft to transmit information about the harsh conditions of the interstellar medium. As for the operational lifespan of the spacecraft, they can be compared to the Martian probe Opportunity, which we talked about in one of our recent videos. The Voyagers also far exceeded their planned lifespans and the expectations of their creators. Let's recall some interesting moments that accompanied this incredible mission, along with exclusive photos taken by the probes, which are still kept at the Scientific Center to this day. The probes didn't just explore the planets of the solar system, they actively photographed them. For example, Voyager 2 was the first in history to approach the Galilean moons and took detailed pictures of Europa. It was after they were made public that the world began to consider the possibility of a vast ocean beneath the thick, icy crust of Jupiter's moon. The probe also photographed ancient Ganymede from a close distance. Voyager 1 was the first to take detailed images of Jupiter, including the monstrous hurricane that has been raging in the planet's atmosphere for 3 centuries. The probe also visited the vicinity of Saturn. There, in Saturn's ring belt, the spacecraft successfully captured images, though its instrument boom was slightly damaged. In turn, Voyager 2 is the only Earth spacecraft that has come closest to the frozen Uranus. At the poles of the giant, it recorded a temperature of -215 degrees Celsius. The probe took hundreds of pictures of the planet and its moons and discovered new satellites and rings. But Voyager 2 came especially close to Neptune, just 48,000 kilometers away, after which it took unique images of the legendary Great Dark Spot, the fastest hurricane in the solar system. The probe also discovered that Triton is not Neptune's only moon. The probe found 4 more moons. Such footage is mesmerizing, isn't it? And surely you will ask, where will the Voyagers end up after thousands of years? Let's start with some general information. Useful equipment. Both 800-kilogram probes are equipped identically. The mass of the hardware payload is 86 kilograms. Voyagers are equipped with 3 thermoelectric generators powered by plutonium-238, which has a half-life of almost 88 years. Therefore, the efficiency of the navigation and other systems is slowly but steadily decreasing. The spacecraft is equipped with 2 reprogrammable computers, which has repeatedly helped to avoid problems along the way. There are also 2 directional antennas on board, several cameras, infrared and ultraviolet spectrometers, plasma detectors, cosmic ray and charged particle detectors, and magnetometers. A message to extraterrestrials. Each probe is equipped with a golden disc that contains 115 slides with views of Earth, current scientific data, and information about human anatomy. Among other things, the record is full of sounds. You can hear a baby crying, the roar of volcanoes, the sound of the surf, and human speech. Musical compositions and popular songs are recorded on the disc. In short, if someone intelligent encounters the Voyagers after listening to and viewing the material provided, they will definitely want to visit Earth. As sad as it is to realize the man-made spacecraft are gradually leaving the solar system, heading into the inhospitable depths of distant space. Although the probes are taking different paths, their fate is the same. They will never return to Earth. Experts believe that communication with the Voyagers will last until around 2025 to 2030. After that, the voices of an era will fall silent forever. Remarkably, in 2017, after a 37-year break, the engines of Voyager 1 were briefly started to adjust the probe's course. The last time they were used was in November 1980, when the spacecraft was flying near Saturn. Where is it now? In September 2013, NASA officially announced that Voyager 1 had entered interstellar space, leaving the boundaries of the heliosphere. The spacecraft passed through the stagnation zone, the boundary between the outskirts of the solar system and the darkness of unforgiving space, enduring considerable stress. Exposure to a powerful magnetic field, a hail of high-energy electrons, and showers of galactic rays. Voyager 1's further journey leads to distant stars. However, the probe's encounter with AC plus 793888, the nearest star in the constellation Camelopardalis, will not happen for at least 40,000 years. The probe will fly past the giant star at a distance of 15 trillion kilometers. In the end, Voyager 1 faces eternal wandering through the vastness of the Milky Way. Voyager 2 will take a slightly different route. In January 2017, the spacecraft was at a distance of 16.9 billion kilometers from the Sun. If it were traveling at the speed of light, it would reach this location in about 16 hours. But with our capabilities, the journey stretched out over 40 long years. In December of last year, the second probe finally entered interstellar space. It will leave the solar system after crossing the outer edge of the Oort cloud. After that, Voyager 2 will travel through the massive cloud for another 30,000 years. After that, the probe will have to cross a group of interstellar nebulae. This will take more than 90,000 years. While still trapped in that cloud of gas, Voyager 2 will also fly past the star Ross 248. This will happen in 40,000 years. There are even more distant predictions. In 296,000 years, the probe, if nothing knocks it off course, will pass by Sirius at a distance of 4.6 light years. So, the probes participating in the Grand Tour program have entered a very interesting phase, the progress of which we, unfortunately, can only guess about. But Earthlings still have photographs, for example, the pale blue dot. This is nothing other than Earth, captured from a distance of 6 billion kilometers. Here it is, the real gift from the Voyagers as they leave forever. Let's take another look at the best images. We hope you enjoyed this video. And as a thank you, you'll give us a like, subscribe, and hit the bell. It's very important because you'll be able to get updates faster than everyone else. And finally, let's play a little interactive game. Try to finish the phrase, I love. Write your answers below this video. Please note, the most interesting comments will definitely be featured in the next episode.